All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're so excited to have everybody here to learn a little bit more about how to pivot to virtual and also how Google is helping on coronavirus. So here with me today, I'm Maria Giannopoulos. I'm on the civics outreach team here at Google. I also have Javier Hernandez. I have Andrea Holterman, John Ruxton, Erica Arbetter, and Joe Dooley here with me. And we'll be presenting some of the slides just to give you a sense of what we're doing and how you can pivot your work to virtual. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about our global response to coronavirus. All right. Okay, so first here, just a little bit of an agenda to get started. So I really want to outline how we're helping people find useful information. We're protecting people from mis and disinformation, really enabling that productivity for remote workers and students, supporting relief efforts for government organizations, and advancing health research and science. So let's get started. Helping people find useful information and protecting people from mis and disinformation. All right. So in times of crisis, we know that providing users with access to timely, actionable information is absolutely crucial. In Google search, we always want to give users relevant and reliable information to high-quality sources. For queries that pertain to topics like health information that are particularly sensitive and may be susceptible to low information quality, we have systems in place that give more weight in our ranking systems to factors like understanding of authoritativeness, expertise, or trustworthiness of the pages that we present in response. For instance, here in this slide, you see the World Health Organization articles linked here. Google search uses ranking algorithms to meet users' expectations of servicing relevant and high-quality sources, as well as presenting poor quality or harmful content rising in search results. Underlying content on the web is always changing, so we're constantly evolving our algorithms to improve quality results for the wide range of queries that Google sees every single day. In turn, we're helping people across the globe find helpful information. And that, of course, starts with our search experience. So when COVID was declared a public health emergency in late January by the World Health Organization, we launched an SOS alert with resources and safety information from the WHO, along with the latest news. I'm excited to share that the alert has launched in 25 languages across dozens of countries, and more than 50 countries can access localized public health guidance from health authorities, including here in the US. So now, as we continue to see more people seeking this information, we're merging our existing SOS alerts with a knowledge panel that contains authoritative information on COVID symptoms, prevention, statistics or cases around the globe. You can see the map in the GIF right here. And you can also toggle between the information in each section. So you can see up here in the red how you can toggle between. So, of course, as you may have seen on the Google homepage, we promoted the Do the 5 campaign to raise awareness of simple measures that people can take to slow the spread of disease, according to the WHO. So, of course, wash your hands often, cough into your elbow, don't touch your face. Seems like the only thing I really learned from work from home is how much I actually love touching my face. Make sure you keep safe social distancing. Sadly, can't visit the cherry blossoms here in DC, but we all know that social distancing and staying at home is very important. So you'll notice that all of us are broadcasting live today from our homes, and I hope you're tuning in from home as well. So in addition to launching new features on search, we've worked with relevant agencies and authorities to roll out a website, google.com/COVID-19. That's focused on education, prevention, and local resources. You can find state-based information, safety and prevention tips, along with search trends related to COVID-19. At google.com/COVID-19, you'll also find more resources that you can share with your audiences, like resources to help your communities and ways to support local relief efforts. So, of course, we want to make sure that people can find useful information in this very stressful and hard time. So, shifting our gears to YouTube a little bit. In the US, we're surfacing helpful COVID-19 videos from the CDC and other authoritative sources. So on the left, you see a mobile version of a video from the CDC. And on the right, you see a desktop with our news shelf that prominently displays videos from authoritative news sources. So we're excited that you're able to find information there. In addition, we have YouTube's information panels. So we link these panels to the WHO. Of course, it's in many languages and across 100 countries. And we surface links to local authorities in many high-risk countries. And we're continuing to roll out more as we have more information and more helpful authoritative tips to surface. Of course, we're battling the fight of mis and disinformation around coronavirus and other things that can come victim to mis and disinformation. So we want to make sure that quality counts, really having high quality authoritative sources and protecting users from misinformation and abuse. Our trust and safety team has been working around the clock across the globe. Kudos to them to really safeguard users in line with our policies on inappropriate ads and policies that prohibit ads from maintaining medical misinformation such as miracle cures. We really want to make sure that people are safe and are getting the right information. We also have sensitive events and medical misinformation policies across our products, as well as a dedicated task force to monitor abuse on our platforms. Of course, if you want to know more about our dedicated task force, our threat analysis group, you can always read our policy white paper on how Google fights disinformation. It'll really give you the background on how we manage quality information on our platforms. Of course, we also want to protect mis and disinformation on YouTube as well. So we aim to surface videos from experts, media outlets, and public health institutions and news organizations in our search results. So earlier you saw our homepage on YouTube, but this is actually what it looks like when you type in a search result. So here you'll see a result for coronavirus, you'll see authoritative information from the CDC, and then also top shelf news from news outlets. So really making sure that you're getting the most out of your search experience, both on Google search and on YouTube. Of course, we want to make sure that we are protecting our community guidelines as well, with people posting videos about coronavirus and making sure that we're protecting against harmful or dangerous content. Videos like that claim harmful substances or treatment can have health benefits. Our policy strictly prohibits that. Our policy relating to coronavirus content also prohibits recommending treatments in place of seeking medical treatment, such as visiting a doctor at the hospital. And we also work with human evaluators and experts who use publicly available guidelines to provide critical input on the quality of videos, which helps train machine learning systems that generate the recommendations that you're seeing. And on the bottom here, you can see an information panel beneath the videos that really point people to authoritative information on the topic. So you'll see that throughout YouTube videos here. Lastly, I want to touch on the ways that we're preventing mis and disinformation on Google Maps, ads, and Play. So on Google Maps, we're making sure that we're removing fraudulent factual edits, editorial content related to coronavirus, and we're also making sure that we have factual accuracy on critical locations. So business closures, emergency room information, testing sites, hospital locations, all these things you should be able to find on Google Maps, and we want to make sure that they're factually accurate and readily available when you're looking for them. On Google Ads, we're making sure that we block all ads that are trying to capitalize on coronavirus. We believe that no one should take advantage of folks when it comes to this crisis. So we have our sensitive events protocol, and we're blocking ads and demonetizing queries that capitalize on the coronavirus keywords. And lastly, on Google Play, it really prohibits developers from capitalizing on sensitive events like coronavirus. And this is in line with our long-standing content policies that strictly prohibit apps that feature medical or health-related content functionalities that are misleading or potentially harmful. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Erica to talk about our education, health, and research efforts across the globe.
Hello, very excited to be here with you today. So today we're going to talk about how Google is enabling productivity for remote working and learning. Great. So we know groups are using products like Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Classroom, Hangouts Meet, Hangout Chat, as well as G Suite for Education to be productive while working and learning remotely. Starting this week, we rolled out free access to our advanced Hangouts Meet video conferencing capabilities to all G Suite and G Suite for Education customers globally until July 1st, 2020. We're also adding resources to be able to support increased demand for public live streaming on YouTube. So those are just some things that are available to your organizations should you be using G Suite or G Suite for Education. But there's one more thing that Google is doing in light of this current global pandemic. Google Cloud also supports disease monitoring and control apps. For example, we host the MTX app, which provides state government agencies, health officials, and airports with real-time insights in predicting at-risk communities, disease growth rates, and monitoring the rapid spread of diseases, most recently with the coronavirus outbreak. The app also provides immediate clinical attention to individuals most affected and prevents the spread to at-risk communities. It's extremely groundbreaking. And I just want to make sure that anybody, if you have any questions, you can submit any questions you have by using the live Q&A forum below via the blue Ask a Question button. So if you have any questions about any of this information, I know it's very dense. You can do next slide. There we go. So this is just an overview of how Google Cloud and Google in general is supporting relief efforts in government organizations. So Google.org and Googlers have donated over $1 million to support relief efforts, which will go towards organizations working to purchase medical supplies, provide frontline workers with food and lodging, support the construction of temporary hospitals, and help with long-term recovery efforts. Google Cloud continues to work with federal, state, and local governments to help them connect with citizens and returning travelers from impacted regions. We're also providing millions in donated ad credit to the WHO and government agencies, and will provide more if there is need throughout the year. So stay tuned for more information on that. So this is just the next two slides are really incredible, groundbreaking things that Google is doing to advance health research and science. So DeepMind, which honestly feels like something out of a sci-fi movie, it was able to release structured predictions of several proteins associated with the virus that causes COVID-19. The hope is that by accelerating their release, they may contribute to the scientific community's understanding of how the virus functions and experimental work in developing future treatments. So that's really incredible, groundbreaking work that's being done there. And then Verily is developing a small body-worn temperature patch that transmits data to a phone application to provide timely notifications of fever and support earlier diagnosis and treatment of viral infection like the flu or coronavirus. This is particularly relevant to at-risk communities and at-risk populations. So the next two things we're doing to advance health research and science is with Kaggle, we're answering the call to action from the White House. Answering the call to action from the White House, Kaggle asked its community of more than 4 million data scientists to use AI to help find answers to a key set of questions about COVID-19. And Kaggle is offering a prize of $1,000 for each task. Additionally, as researchers mobilize to develop vaccines and other remedies, we're highlighting dataset search to make public datasets searchable and useful. As a large number of coronavirus datasets are A large number of coronavirus data sets are new or being updated daily. We've created a fast path for adding new data sets and are committed to providing timely and high-quality results. Government partners are encouraged to suggest government data sets for inclusion via a form that we will absolutely send out as a resource after this presentation. So now I'm going to hand it off to Javier, who I believe will be presenting on productivity tools.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erica. That was really informative. So yeah, I'm just going to hop right into some things that people could be using to be more productive in this time of social isolation. I know if you're like us, many of you are working from home, away from your colleagues, but there's still really important work that you need to get to for your constituents or for your stakeholders. So thankfully, Google has several different products that can help you do that in an effective way, and we're just going to go through some of those now. So next slide, please. So just before we get into that, I just want to outline a couple of the things that we're going to be covering through this section. First, we're going to be talking about different products that will enable productivity, working with your team. Secondly, we're going to be covering some other folks on my team will be covering different ways that you can stay informed of what's happening and the Google products, the corresponding Google products that can help you do that. And then we're also going to be going through ways that you could be creating engaging content to connect with your audience through YouTube and other products. And then lastly, just different ways that you could communicate up-to-date information with your constituents. Next slide, please. Yeah, there we go. We just getting into the productivity tools that Google has. Many of you may already be familiar with Google Drive, but Google Drive is a product that Google has that allows you to seamlessly work across many different products with others in your organization or externally. And it has several different components. Many of the products you see here on the screen include Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, calendars, Meet, and Chat. And I'll just go through each of these individually and tell you how you could be utilizing it to the best effect. Next slide, please. There we go. Yeah. So first, I want to talk about how you can work seamlessly through all these different types of documents. Converting existing Office documents to PDF files to Google Docs, Sheets, or Slide is made really simple by our products. So whether that's just you've been working on a Google Doc that you started on Microsoft Word and you want to upload that to Google Drive and into a Google Docs format so that your colleagues can go in, make comments, make suggestions, edits, or you need a link to easily share that document across external stakeholders. That's all made really easy and seamless through our different products. Because it's all web-based service, you can access it from almost any device. And next slide, please. So the upside to using our platform is that because it is web-based, it's super easy to collaborate. It allows multiple people to collaborate seamlessly across different projects. It also allows you to work from anywhere, whether that's on your desktop monitor, from a laptop, a tablet, or even your mobile device. Again, because it's all synced in on the web, you can make a change from any device that you're working on, whether that be your phone, and then it'll seamlessly be updated from any other device that you or a colleague will be accessing it. And then lastly, you can have full control over who has access to any of these projects. So if you are sending something externally that you only want people to have viewing privileges to, you can actually control that or grant full access to colleagues so that they can work on a project alongside you so that you can maximize your collaboration. And then now just on controlling access, you can make several different edits to the level of access that people have. The first is who can access it. You can invite individuals directly onto that document or that file so that they can view, edit, comment, whatever it might be. And then you can grant them whatever type of editing rights you choose to be appropriate. That can be just full editing rights so that they can work on that project alongside you. That can be just viewing rights so that they can follow along what you're doing, or just comments in case this is a project that you are working on very closely but still want feedback from colleagues along the way. And then you also have the ability to copy, to limit who can copy or print these documents, right? So if you know that this is something that you don't want leaked, you don't want shared, you don't want distributed externally, and you want to have control over, how that file can be distributed, you can also control that as well by utilizing Google's family of products. You can easily manage access to documents, spreadsheet, presentations, and more. You have the ability to generate links. The ability to generate links is also really useful when you're trying to share information with relevant stakeholders internally. I know for me personally, when I was working in communications for an elected official, I used to upload pictures and B-roll onto a Google Drive, onto a Google Drive folder, and then take that link and share it with TV stations in our district so that they can run that in their news broadcast, even if they didn't have the bandwidth to send out a camera directly. So it just allows you to do allows you to upload those documents, those projects, files, and then share them really easily and without the hassle of having to have your physical computer in front of you. Next slide, great. So then going into each of these individually, just covering Google Docs, this is going to be your traditional word processing service. Many of you are probably familiar with using Microsoft Word. Thankfully, as I mentioned earlier, there's really seamless integration between Microsoft Word and Docs, where you can, if you started a project on Word and you want to upload it to Google Drive and start working on to Google Docs and then start working on it through there with a colleague, you can very easily do that. In addition to that, you have the ability to just leave comments, make edits directly on there. You can actually initiate a chat right from the Google Doc so that you and a colleague can have those conversations about the project that you're working on directly and seamlessly. Another great thing about Google Docs and Google is that we actually provide templates online that you can access for free. These templates can be anything from reports, memos, stuff like that. So if you're really struggling to figure out the format for a project that you're working on, you can actually just search Google templates and find a lot of helpful already pre-formatted documents that you can then work on and copy onto your own drive and edit as you see fit. And then yeah, next slide, please. And now going into Sheets, Sheets will be your traditional spreadsheet service, similar to how many of you might be using Microsoft Excel. Obviously, this allows you to do a lot of data analysis, a lot of data input and tracking. It allows you to create charts and filters. It allows you to stay more organized with your team members and track projects and goals. It also allows you to visualize that progress by creating charts, graphics that you can then integrate into other types of files, such as Google Docs for those reports that I already mentioned. And like the other web-based services that we've been talking about, it's fully integrated. So as you make those edits, your teammates and external stakeholders can also see those edits in real time. And then because this is all this stuff is lives in the web on the web, and is connected by default, it makes sense to connect other. It makes a lot of sense to also be able to connect other web-based services. So one of the great things about Google Sheets is that you can actually use software programs like Zapier to connect it with other third-party applications. So whether that's if you want to source data from your Twitter, Facebook, or other apps, you can actually do that as well. And even if you want to use Zapier to export data from Google Sheets to a CRM service that you might be using, you're also able to do that. So beyond just having integration between the different Google products, you can also integrate it with third-party applications so that the data that you're inputting is seamlessly integrated with all those other services, and you don't have to act as the manual middleman where you're inputting that information yourself. Great. And now going into Google Slides, this would be your traditional presentation service. So if you're putting together a budget request for your chief, if you are trying to present analytics on a recent ad campaign that you ran, or if you just simply want to talk about and present some plans or ideas in a visually cohesive way, then you should really be using slides. It helps you bring your ideas to life in a professionally and polished visual way. There's no additional software required. So again, you can access all of these things online for free as long as you have a Google account. So you can edit it from your laptop, desktop, mobile device, all that. Even if you want to start a presentation from your phone while you're sitting, on a I guess at this point won't be public transit, but if you're just sitting on your phone and you want to get started on that presentation project that you've been thinking about, you can go ahead and do it, and it's all seamlessly integrated when you go back to your desktop or laptop computer as well. And one of the great things about all of these different tools, and our team uses it pretty often, is that you could be working on different parts of the same project all at the same time. You can be, if you're collaborating on a presentation with a colleague and you want to be working on certain parts of the presentation while your colleague is working on the rest, and you can really see how it's all coming together at the same time. This is really helpful, especially if you are trying to get the flow of a presentation down right. It helps you to know what your colleague is thinking, what type of comments they're leaving along the way. You can open and initiate chat to make sure that everyone is on the same page and you're communicating the same information, or at least sticking to the same template and style. And then lastly, getting into Google Calendars, which I think is one of the most useful products that you'll use in your space. So there are a couple of really helpful things that you can actually do through Google Calendar that you all should be aware of. Like, the first is just the ability to control who can access or manage calendars, right? You can do everything from share access to your calendar to colleagues, or just share the ability for them to view your calendar so that they know they have the ability to not schedule meetings over when you're not available. You can also be granted access to view your boss's calendar. I know when I was working in the house, it was really helpful to know when my boss was available so that I can think through scheduling radio or TV interviews, right? So having access to others' calendars, even if you're not going to be editing it directly, will actually allow you to collaborate much more seamlessly. You can also delegate control over your calendars to other. So this is oftentimes what you'll see schedulers in official offices do. Well, they will they'll be delegated control over their boss's calendar so that they can make edits directly and just be in full control of that person's schedule. You also have the ability to send daily agendas, which can be really helpful. So if you just want to know, you want to receive an email at the very beginning of the day that lets you know exactly what you have going on moving forward, or if you're a scheduler and you want to receive your boss's full agenda for that day and then forward it to the rest of your team so that everyone is aware of what is going on for that day, you're able to do that. And that's really simple. All you really have to do is just open Google Calendars and then click on the settings menu, the gear, then go to settings for my calendar, and then scroll to the appropriate calendar and go to general notifications. And under daily agenda, you can select email notifications, and then you'll receive that email each day with which will provide you all the information that you need to be able to stay on top of your tasks. And then and as I mentioned, the viewing privileges into others' calendars is really helpful. I know that it's most helpful when you're thinking about a shared calendar for a team, or your principal's or manager's calendar as well. So that way, you know that you're scheduling yourself appropriately around their schedule, so that you don't have to go engage in a constant back and forth to figure out when someone is or isn't available. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Andrea.
Great. Thanks, Javi. That was really helpful. I'm going to talk about 4 more tools, 2 more around productivity, and then 2 more about connecting with your audience. And then we're going to pass it over to you two. So the first tool I want to talk about today is Google Hangouts Meet. This is Google's video conferencing platform that allows you to collaborate with your staff wherever they are. All you have to do is just set up a meeting and share a link. You don't have to worry about whether or not your teammates, your clients, or external customers have the right access or plugins in order to invite them to the meeting link. Once you're in the meeting, you can actually share your screen to more easily collaborate and present on documents or slides that you may be working on as a team. And make sure when you are doing that when you're on Hangouts Meet, to make sure that you turn on your camera for video chat. The video feature really makes a huge difference in this time where everyone is really working from home. Next slide. So our G Suite head of product marketing came out with 6 tips for better video conference calls while working from home. The first tip that she highlights is make sure that you choose the right environment. When you're on a call, you want to give some thought to what's around you, such as the backdrop. You want to choose a plain wall, avoid windows that provide too much backlight. And if you're using a laptop, you want to make sure you put it somewhere steady as opposed to maybe on a pillow on your lap. The next tip is you can actually, if you're presenting, you want to make sure you're sharing only what you need to share. So for example, if everyone's on the call and they're seeing your screen and maybe your personal email pops up and then everyone sees your personal email, you want to make sure that to avoid that, you're only sharing one window at a time as opposed to your whole screen, so people are only seeing what they need to see. The next thing is you can invite anyone at any time. So it doesn't always have to be scheduled. If you're in the middle of a too long email conversation, you can actually just instantly set up a meeting and invite people within or outside of your organization to join. Hangouts Meet actually automatically creates international dial-in codes so people can call on the phone from anywhere, and you can invite people whether it's through a Google Calendar event, by email, or via phone. The next tip is reading the room and sort of changing the screen layout. So one of the really cool features of Meet is being able to change the layout of the video call. If someone's showing slides, but there's a really lively discussion happening in the office, you can actually switch your layout to focus on the people in the office rather than the presentation. Next tip is turning on captions. If you are in a loud place or you don't have really fancy headphones, you can actually just use our live caption feature to display captions in real time. And this works the same way as closed captions on TV may work. And the last tip, and I would argue the most important tip, is just to be authentic. Everyone has a life outside of work, and especially when we're all working from home, it's totally okay to show a little bit of the more authentic world around you, whether it's letting your kid wave to the camera or eating lunch because you've been on calls nonstop all day. Sort of showing that little bit of your real life while you're at home can foster more deep connections, especially when we're all in isolation in our homes. It's really important to make sure that you're having that connection with your coworkers when you can't be there in person. Great, next slide. Next tool and final tool to enable team productivity is Hangouts Chat. This is our chat platform that makes it really easy for teams to be able to get their work done in one place. From direct messages to group conversations, it's a really great way to collaborate easily and efficiently. So we have dedicated virtual rooms that you can house projects over time, and chat makes it really easy to track progress and follow up on tasks. Chat actually supports 28 languages, and rooms can hold up to 8,000 members. Great. Next one. So those are all the productivity tools. Next, I'm going to talk about 2 tools, Google Alerts and Google Trends, that help groups better keep up with what's happening with their audiences. So the first one is Google News Alerts. Google News Alerts is a tool that allows you to actually receive email alerts to monitor content that's important to you, whether it's your boss's name, news articles that are relevant to your organization, blogs, op-eds, etc. You can actually get alerts as often as once a day or as little as once a week. And it's automatic once you set it up. It scans the web for you, and whether it's articles, blog posts, or even web content. And what you can do is you can actually compare different search terms or topics over time. And actually, that's for trends. Can you go to the next slide? Great. And then Trends is our last tool. It's a really powerful tool that shows you what people are searching for at any given time. We often say that search demonstrates intent. So this tool is a really great way to get a finger on the pulse of your audience, to understand what they're curious about, what they want to know more about. You can actually explore what either the world, the United States, your metro area, or your state is searching for by entering a keyword into the Explore search bar. And then you can actually see what's trending across both search, Google News, and YouTube in real time. It has really cool visualizations that make it easier to understand the trend data, and you can actually identify related search topics and news. It's a really great way to determine what information your audience needs most. Great, and that is it for those tools to help you connect with your audience. From there, I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, John, over at YouTube.
Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, John here from the YouTube DC team. I'm going to talk about 2 YouTube-specific tools to help you connect with your audience. Next slide. The first is YouTube Live. We have a lot of interest from a lot of organizations around the country and world, particularly government-focused organizations, on how exactly YouTube Live works as a great way to live broadcast to an unlimited number of people your message in real time. So YouTube Live is a really great tool. It's demonstrated here on how you set it up once you're logged into your channel, in short. But this is just a really great tool for broadcasting live events to a broad audience, a public audience, that provides users or viewers with immediate real-time information. This could be a press release, a public service announcement, all live broadcasted to the YouTube platform for free. It's also a great format for expert interviews. If you want to bring in a subject matter expert to speak to COVID in your local community or to your organization in a public-facing way, YouTube Live would be a really great opportunity to do that in a live fashion, in a format that's really appreciated by YouTube users who are frequently coming to YouTube to learn more about a topic and dive into that through video. In addition, we're seeing a lot of organizations use it in a town hall Q&A fashion, whereby they'll set up a live broadcast from a location under quarantine, and a principal might answer questions via text or via video integration from their audience, from their constituents, so that they can keep their audience up to date through this more interactive Q&A fashion in this virtual town hall environment. So those are some good use cases for YouTube Live out the onset here. It's really easy to enable YouTube Live on your channel. You just go to your channel on YouTube, go to youtube.com, sign in the upper right-hand corner, and then navigate to youtube.com/features. There you'll see all the different features you can unlock on your channel for free quite easily. One of those features is live streaming. So it's important to enable live streaming. It requires a 2-factor verification, and definitely recommend doing it as soon as you're able to, so that you can live stream when you're ready to have your next event. It typically takes 24 hours to process. Once you do that 2-factor authentication, again, it takes a minute or so. Within 24 hours, you will be set up for live streaming. In terms of the basics of live streaming, again, YouTube Live is really helpful for broadcasting to a public audience. So an unlimited number of users can view a live stream on YouTube for free. You don't need to have a Google account to access a YouTube live broadcast, which is helpful, particularly given that a lot of social networks require you to log in to view content. So again, this is a publicly available free service to anyone. And you can really stream from any device out there. You can stream from a really professional setup that's connected to an encoder that comes directly into the YouTube platform. You can easily stream from a webcam at your desk if you want just a really simple, professional, steady way to live stream. And then you can also live stream from a mobile device, which is demonstrated here on the left. In terms of privacy settings, YouTube is a public video platform. So generally speaking, channels or organizations live stream to reach a public audience. If you select the public setting for your live stream, that live stream will be promoted to your subscribers at the top of your channel. And also in addition to that, throughout the YouTube interface, particularly in YouTube search. So it's really easy for folks to find if you're on that public setting. If you don't want to publicly promote this live stream on your channel or to your subscribers, maybe it's a more informal live stream to a smaller group of folks, you could select the unlisted setting, and that will simply broadcast to a public URL, and you can promote that URL to just those folks who would be interested in attending. Anyone can access that URL, but again, if you want to just hyper target the live stream to maybe an email list, you can email a link to that unlisted live to have a live stream that's a little more private. Next slide. Awesome. So we put together a checklist for what to think about before you live stream, during your live stream, and after your live stream. It's also available as a two-sheeter that we'll send out afterwards. But it's really, really important before you live stream to test your full setup, just so you know that your hardware works, your internet works, your connection into YouTube works. You can do this as a private live stream, as an unlisted live stream. So again, you're not promoting it publicly, but it's the most essential thing to do before you set up your first live stream in particular. It's really easy to, again, to schedule a live stream, and we can promote the live in the future quite easily through the scheduling function of both webcam live streaming and encoder live streaming with a professional setup. It's also really helpful to create a live channel page shelf that programmatically promotes all your live streams that are upcoming, but also past live streams directly on your channel if folks land on your channel and not that particular URL or search for your live. So it's really easy for folks to find dynamically. If you have a live stream scheduled, we'll promote that at the top of your channel. And then, definitely announce your live stream on all your communications channels. Hopefully gather questions from folks in the comments of those posts so that you can have, again, a Q&A experience throughout all your live broadcasts. In addition, it's important to have very detailed titles and descriptions for your live stream, for your video, so that it's easily discoverable in search results. So we use what you input for your titles and your descriptions to match your video to search queries. So really important to have detailed titles and descriptions that answer, who, what, when, where, why, all those questions folks might ask about your live stream, so that it's easily discoverable as they're typically searching for live content. In addition, having a really high contrast, clear, eye-catching thumbnail can be helpful too, to distinguish your live video and search results from other videos. So branding your video with your logo in a corner with good colors and a unique font will be super helpful there. Once you go live with your live stream, whether or not it's scheduled or something you set up immediately on the go, definitely feature that event on your channel, which is another feature that you can implement. Deliver opening and closing remarks to give a strong opening and a strong close to your event. Hopefully stick to a run of show and a structure, so it's easy for your audience to follow along, both while it's live streamed, but also afterwards, once it becomes an on-demand video, if you'd like to. answer questions from your audience, again, to keep it interactive. And then what's really awesome about YouTube Live in particular is you can create highlight clips directly while live streaming in the live interface, so that you can find those highlights to later promote to your audience in, on shorter form platforms like Facebook, for example. After you live stream, we'll automatically publish the live video if the video's less than 6 hours directly to your channel, so anyone can view it, particularly afterwards if they might not have time in the moment. And then definitely add your live video to not a live archive playlist, so that we're more likely to surface that video, maybe if it's a part of a series, to additional users who've maybe seen a previous episode of a live stream that you've done. And then always, you can easily direct audiences to that archive live stream on your channel, as it has its own unique URL. Next slide. Awesome. So in addition to YouTube live streaming, it's really also quite easy to upload videos that communicate up-to-date information to your audience. So next slide. I think the best format to think about in our context here with COVID is what we refer to as an explainer video. So in addition to live streaming announcements, you can upload, more polished videos that really explain the latest about COVID and about your other initiatives to your local audience, so that they're discoverable, particularly on YouTube search. So I think this will be a really great way, again, if you really want to update your constituency or your stakeholders on the local situation for your organization and for your community. Consider creating like a 2 to 3 minute explainer video. It doesn't, again, have to involve a lot of expensive equipment. This is something that you can film directly on a mobile device with a steady setup, and quickly piece together in terms of editing to then push out to YouTube, so that it's publicly available and easily discoverable to your local community, to the folks that are looking for information that's hyper local to an issue like this, or an issue that you really focus on as a group. Awesome. And here's just a full suite of additional YouTube resources if you're getting started or want to learn more. The YouTube Creator Academy is something that's really, really helpful. There's guided tutorials for digital teams across all our different content strategies for different organizations, all our different features. So it's a really great guided way to get started with YouTube. In addition, the YouTube Creators channel on YouTube has how to explainer videos for every single feature of YouTube, including live streaming. So there's a great one, for example, if you search on YouTube, search for how to YouTube live stream, the YouTube Creators walkthrough video will explain how to get started. In addition, we have a great channel called Creator Insider, which is that third link within the Creator Academy that has just some more informal tips and tricks for how to best use YouTube from one of our product teams. In addition, our Help Center is really, really great. I've linked to the full website for the Help Center. And then specifically within that website, there's a page dedicated to YouTube Live with everything from the most basic of questions, like how to enable live streaming, as I mentioned earlier, to the most sophisticated technical answers to things like stream keys and bit rate and all the additional technical capabilities and questions around YouTube Live that your video team might have if they're getting set up. And then in addition, we also link to some of our community guidelines and safety and copyright pages, so you can get a sense of how to best publish content that's compliant with copyright law, but also safe for all audiences. And that's everything I have. I think we'll now pass it over to Maria to manage Q&A.
Amazing. Thanks, John. All right. So I'm going to bring everybody back into the live stream to take some Q&A. The first one actually is for you, John. I have a question from Anil about live streaming captioning. So is live stream captioning available when using YouTube Live?
Yeah, it's one of our latest technologies that we've developed. At the moment, it's available to the majority of the major channels on YouTube, and we're over the course of this year essentially bringing that feature to all audiences and all channels. And I don't know if it's necessarily publicly available to everyone yet, but given obviously how much investment we're making in live, I would imagine it's something that will be available to all live channels very, very shortly, if not already, given, you know, how much we're seeing folks broadcast live. Last year was available to channels with over 1,000. And I think this year we're trying to get it to all channels, over 1,000 subscribers rather. And this year we're bringing it to everyone, regardless of how many subscribers you have. So if it's not available yet, it'll be available very, very shortly.
Awesome. Thanks, John. All right. So our next question is about Google Slides, and that's from Mar. So for Google Slides, are we able to edit while the presentation is going on? Presenter is on slide number 1, but I need to make edits to slide number 5 without the presentations being erupted. They're looking to make last-minute edits. So Javi, let's have you answer this one for us.
Sure. Yeah. So the answer is actually no. If you want to make any edits to the presentation while you're presenting it, you actually need to reload the presentation, and then the edits will populate then.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Javi. Okay, so it looks like we have another question here about conference line systems. Let's bring in everybody. So we have the full panel of experts here to answer our questions. So this question comes from Natasha. Does Google have any secure video call or conference line systems? I'm familiar with Google Chat / Google Video with friends / small organizations, but wondering if Google has the capability to run a massive, secure conference call line for a big group of congressional staffers and or stakeholders. Andrea, I think maybe you should take this one. Oh,
Sorry, I'm here. Yeah, happy to. So for on classic Gmail Hangouts, like on your personals, the limit is 10. But for those larger ones, as I believe Erica mentioned, in light of the coronavirus, G Suite has rolled out free access to advanced Hangouts Meet video conferencing capabilities to G Suite customers globally until July 1st, 2020. That would have to be for G Suite customers. That being said, if you are interested in G Suite, feel free to email us at civics-outreach@google.com, and we're happy to put you in touch with the folks over at G Suite so they can talk about how they can meet you where you are, especially if you're a congressional staffer on the Hill.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrea. So if you, of course, have any questions, make sure to put them right below using the blue button. But I see our last question here that we have is from Anil as well, from the National Federation of the Blind. So the National Federation of the Blind is compiling information and developing programs specific to blind and low vision individuals. Is there a way for us to cross-link or integrate what we're compiling with the Google COVID-19 resources? Joe, I think maybe you should tackle this one.
Sure, thank you. I think that we're happy to help folks like National Federation figure out the solution for this. I don't know exactly what that would be at this moment, but Anil, I'm happy to follow up with you offline to discuss further if you'd like. And just reach out to, what is the alias again?
civics-outreach@google.com.
That would be the best way for us to get in touch right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So of course, there's a lot of questions about live streaming. So another question, so what tool are we actually using to live stream this particular session, and how are we encoding our stream? John, do you want to take that one?
Well, Maria, you set up the live stream, but we're using back-end YouTube streaming software, but overlaid on the front end with a tool that Maria can speak to a bit more.
Sure. So we're using a tool called StreamYard, and it's just an encoder to kind of balance our speaking roles and things like that. And it integrates really well into YouTube, just making sure that we're able to broadcast live for you all. So excited that you all can take this capability and utilize it with your own organizations and really kind of get your messages out there during this time. Because of course, you can say different things and broadcast out, but also we want to make sure you take the tools and tips and tricks that we outlined during our entire presentation, to really pivot that work to virtual, whether that's Google Drive or Hangouts or Meet. We're here to help you, of course. So I don't think I see any more. Actually, no, I see one more question. Okay, with Google Hangouts, will there be an option to unmute/mute participants as a presenter? And is there a way to create registration and monitor who joins a Hangout call? So I'll take this one. Unfortunately, with Hangouts, there's not a way you can monitor registration. You, of course, can monitor who you send the link out to and things like that. And once people join, you can kind of facilitate the, hey, who's joined kind of thing that way. And then I think another related question, how many people can join a Hangouts Meet call at once if you're a G Suite holder? Right now, that's 250 users. Thanks to those that asked about those platforms. But of course, if you guys have any more questions or want to know more about our tools, ways that you can really utilize G Suite and Drive at this time, make sure to reach out to us at civics-outreach at google.com. We'll be happy to answer your questions there. Awesome. So I see no more questions. With that, thank you so much to all of our speakers, the team here at Google. And then again, make sure to reach out to us with any questions at civics, that's civics-outreach at google.com. So thanks so much. Make sure to tune into our security live stream tomorrow. That'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and you'll see us right at the link that you registered right here for session number 2. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks.